You know how alpha females know that they're alpha females?
How?
It's not internally. You can't tell them nothing. You can't tell an alpha nothing because you can't tell an alpha man nothing.
I am Hayzel Green, an inquisitive, unapologetic, voluptuous introvert who blooms and blossoms behind closed doors. This is my podcast, a platform where I will discuss my writings and where I will bring to light conversations with my good girlfriends, sisters, brothers, and homeboys about love, life, music, and most importantly, sex. So leave your judgment at the door and welcome to Hanging Out with Hayzel.
It's Hayzel, baby.
That was a bad thing. It wasn't for me. So what she did was because she couldn't believe that was my reasoning for leaving. She flipped it. She called herself flipping the whole thing and considers me to be a narcissist, saying that I exhibit narcissistic traits. And the traits she was throwing out there, I told her, I said, well, listen, the traits that you throw out there, I can 100% accept back in the day when I probably was real arrogant and conceited. But because I've been gone so long and have not been in that type of situation with a female, I don't think that you're being honest with yourself as far as saying that that's me, because nobody in my family or friends or even other females that I know have ever seen that in me. And even when I bring it to certain people that know me, they say, oh, no, I don't see that. So I chalk it up to her being real bitter and not being able to face the reality of what our situation grew into. Now, the whole time I was gone, 9.5 years of that time, she got missing. She was gone for 9.5 years of time I was gone. I didn't talk to her. I didn't get no letters. I didn't see her. None of that.
No
support. None of that. And this is my wife.
Yeah, that's
so.
Crazy.
How do you do that to your husband?
Yeah, she's supposed to have been there for you.
Yeah, her excuse was that she was getting herself. She was finding out who she was. But you couldn't do that and still
be your
have
wife.
your relationship with your husband.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? Which so when that took place, I literally had to block out society while I was gone.
Yeah, because that had to hurt though.
Because she was my society. You know what I'm saying? So when she decided to do that, I didn't call home. I didn't write. I didn't do none of that. So I just 100% focused on me in there and everything that was taking place in all the different institutions that I had to go to and all the different changes that took place at that time. So still right now, she still can't deal with the situation. So I've been blocked on all her social media, but friends that we have that's alike tell me about the posts that she posts, still throwing out to other people on social media about the narcissist thing. And everybody's tripping, and a lot of her friends that comment and agree, they don't know my situation or my reasons for leaving the situation. So I'm like, been blocked by all of them, and I've had no conversation to explain why I made the decision that I made. You know what I'm saying? So,
but those were your friends together, though, right?
Some of them, yeah.
Wow.
Some of them.
Well, time does change people.
So it was like, it's like crazy. Yeah, because I speak to a few of them right now, and they'll literally pull up the page or pull up posts that her and some of her other friends post and be reading them to me while we on the phone. And I'll be like, man, listen, all it is that bitterness and the fact that she can't face that that's her reality right now. And really, who's exhibiting narcissism when she can't face that reality? You know what I'm saying? Listen, this is the reason why I left, and this is true about you. I'm not tripping, because if it wasn't, then it would have been something that we could have worked through together. But because you can't face that reality, you got this blinder up and this wall up, and no, that's not me. Then you'll throw them pot shots and flip the whole script. You didn't leave me; I left you for this reason, and now you know what I'm saying, you just tripping. So I mean, we stayed together for like what, 9 months, and I just dealt with it, and over that time, I've seen this and I've seen that and I've seen this, and I tried to deal with it, but man, I couldn't deal with that stuff.
But could it have been the fact that you have been gone so long and now she has to reintroduce you into her space, her life?
Exactly. You 100% right. And that's what it was. But the flip side of that is she was gone for 9.5 years. So if you don't make that decision to do that, then when I come home and I'm reintroduced into everything that you got going on, it's not as hard for you. But that's something totally separate than who she became as a person, though. Because when I would make little comments about certain stuff that she would say, or different mannerisms that she would bring up, she would take offense to it, like I was trying to change something. And I'm not trying to change it. It's just like, look, you in a marriage. So if the head of the household is mentioning
there's a problem,
something that's negatively affecting him, then I don't have to tell you to change. That should be something within you that be like, whoa, maybe I should rethink this aspect of how I move, or how I conduct myself, or how I present myself to my husband, for the sake of our household. That wasn't the case.
Keep peace and
because you can't tell me, you can't tell me as a man that I'm doing something or saying something to you that's negatively affecting you, and you my wife, and I don't fix it because I love you enough and I love the union enough to want to make everything okay so that you okay with it. You understand what I'm saying?
Oh yeah, I understand.
That's what I'm going to do, so if I'm giving you that information, then you should be trying to reciprocate that. So, that wasn't the case. So it's like when I first decided, when everything came to a head and I was saying, look, this is the reason why, it was more or less like, okay, now I'm standing back, like waiting to see what you going to say or do about it. And I got no reaction as far as changing that or trying to fix that. It was like, well, I'm this, I'm that. It is what it is. You can either take it or leave it. That's what I got from it.
Oh, wow.
So because it was so fresh to me, I wasn't missing nothing. Because like I said, you was gone 9.5 years. We reconnected 2020, right when COVID was hitting. I came home in 21 and tried to pick right back up. Mind you, I had more years in the joint than I did on the street for our marriage. We got married in 05. I left in 06.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Came home in 21.
I didn't realize it was that long.
You know what I'm saying? So,
And then she was missing like, 9 of those years, so.
Yeah,
oh,
yeah.
Wow. Yeah.
So a lot of stuff was negatively impacted with me being gone. Like, she was a cop. She lost her job. She had to go do 10 months in the joint. She came home. Didn't literally have to start over again because she got a very supportive family. But in essence, she did have to start over again. She had a son, so he's at his impressionable time of his life. So you have to, transitioning into a young man. And I'm gone. So she focusing on that, which I understood. But at the end of the day, I'm still your husband. I'm still supposed to be able to give advice and help you through certain stuff while you out there, So, and she chose not to have me in that part of her life. So, that's one thing that, even though I forgave her for it, that played a part in my decision also. The fact that you abandoned me while I was gone. Mind you, I caught a life sentence in the Fed.
Oh, really?
So Everybody. Yeah, I caught life. Mike Tucker, I caught life. Yeah, I caught life. So I catch life at that point in my life. Everybody just was like, oh, he done. It's a wrap. In the feds, not the state. I caught a life bid in the feds. So everybody just wrote me off. That's it. It's done. So now what do I have to do? I gotta watch all these people turn their back on me and take all the negativity that comes from that, and still try to function in high security federal penitentiary for 15 and a half years. Well, 12 of those years I was in the high security. So like I said, she had to go through her stuff out here, but still. So my thing was society as a whole. I know the plight that our sisters face being out here raising kids on their own and being subjected to not given the same opportunities that men do, So they got to put up a sort of hardness to themselves to be able to go through all of the stereotypes and negativity that society places upon black women out here, just like men do. But when it comes to the point where you so hard that it negatively affects your relationship, pause button should be put on.
Right.
And you fix that if you care enough about the relationship. I done heard, well, it takes a strong man to be able to deal with a strong woman. Nah, it don't. Strong strength don't have nothing to do with it. Maturity do.
Oh.
And if you a man, you know how to act as such.
Right.
So a man expects that from his better half as well, because we also have to go through so much in society as well.
That's true.
So you don't need to come back home or into your household and deal with that from your better half also. So I don't know. Some dudes like that maybe and can deal with it. I'm just one of the ones that couldn't, because of what I love about a black woman. I love the essence and I love femininity. And a woman that exhibits that is very, very attractive to me. And when you don't possess those traits, it's no biggie. You know what I'm saying? It's not a big thing. It's just that it's not for me.
Right.
And I don't think she'll ever be able to accept that.
Wow.
That I left her because I said she was too hard. Don't take it for, you can't misinterpret it to mean you're not strong, that you're too strong. That's not it. Hard and strong is two different things when it comes to that.
And it was nothing that y'all could have worked on, or you gave her the opportunity?
No, because I tried. Mind you. I say, when I presented it to her, I took a pause to see what the reaction was going to be, whether there was an opportunity to fix that or correct that. But she's too ingrained in that to change it.
Mm.
She that's what she was doing for those 9.5 years.
Developing a whole new
personality. So to try and fix that, yeah. So to try to fix that, and it's crazy that, well, actually, I'm not going to even say that I didn't get it or see it early on. It was just that it took that amount of time for me to be like, okay, this is her. This is a part of her. So can I deal with it when she expressing it or exhibiting that to other people? Can I still deal with it as long as she's not putting it off on me? You know what I'm saying? But when it came to me, and I was like, nah, thinking that you could just talk a certain way or your mannerisms are a certain way towards me is disrespectful.
Mm.
And it's like you questioning my manhood or you challenging my manhood in how you moving. And the only way I can see that you moving like that is like you think I'm a punk or I'm less than a man by you doing certain things or moving a certain way in this relationship. And I'm like, nah, I can't do that, because I know some dudes that have put their hands on women because of that.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And I'm not that guy.
Wow.
You moving, you exhibiting this toughness and this hardness about yourself, like you think you can beat me up or you can talk to me away, and then when I reply or respond, now you got to get a little bit tougher or whatever like that, like you can beat me up or something like that. So men get to looking at certain things differently after a certain amount of time. Like, damn, she really talking to me like
Right,
that?
you got to check the situation.
What am I doing to make her think she can talk to me like that?
And why does she think it's okay to
So
talk
now
to
it's
you
like
that?
because I don't. Yeah, so it's like, where's the respect factor at the end of the day? You don't know you being disrespectful and how you talking or how you moving. I shouldn't really have to say nothing to you about that, but so you sit back and you just wait and see if this is really that person. And when you see that, it's like, well, damn, that ain't the person I married. She done morphed into this whole nother being. I don't have time for that, because at the end of the day, when I came home, it was all about my peace. I can't afford to have nothing disrupt the peace that I brought to myself and in my life. My whole thing was come home, get myself together, establish a relationship with my grandkids, and get closer to my kids. You know what I'm saying? That was it. My mom passed, my dad passed, so now it's only about my kids now. Get closer to my brothers and my sister, family. Make that family, get that family knit tighter, and that's what I did. And anything that was disrupting that had to go.
Wow. Yeah.
So that's what I wanted to, I wanted to hear how other women felt about that. And and dudes also, if they see that in their relationships and they don't know what decisions to make or how they should deal with those types of situations, I'm just curious to hear what other people going through stuff like that, and if so, what do you think? What's your thoughts on it? What are your thoughts on that?
That's a good question.
Can you deal with? Can you deal with that? But a lot of people aren't in my type of situation or went through what I had to go through. But then again, dudes just coming home that are going back to relationships that they left. How is that looking? What is that looking like? How is that working? A lot of people wasn't gone, and they better have left to do a self-worth or self-examination of themselves to get them to another place in their lives or whatever like that. And then with that change, how is that affecting your relationship?
Well, see, for me, I think that there should have been a courting stage all over again, where you would have had to get to know her and she would have got to know you, because there was so much time apart that behaviors have changed, ideas have changed, and just the way people moved, changed.
Now you know what? To her credit, she did used to tell me, you're probably not gonna like the person that I've become, the person I am today.
Oh wow.
She did used to tell me that. So she knew that she wasn't the same person she was when I left. And she was telling me that.
Okay, but in all fairness, hear me out. In all fairness, because she had to take on a different role, even though she's still your wife, she had to step up and she had to be, I ain't gonna say the man of the house, but she had to take on a totally different role. And her doing it for so long kept her in that mode. So that's why I said to you that I think for myself, it needed to be a courting stage where y'all needed to get to know each other again. And once you got to know each other again, then you can figure it out. Because like you said, at some point, this not what I want. I don't want this type of female or this type of woman. I want somebody a little bit more soft. Or, hey, check this out. I want you how you was when we first got married, because this is what I was attracted to.
Right.
So can I have this person back? And if not, then then we got to end that.
Right. Yeah, that would have been cool. that would have been cool. But how do you do that? How do you court? How do you court when you in the same household and it's your wife you talk about? I think you could do that if y'all not married.
I don't think. I think
The
that it
court is
could be
40. Because look, the reason why I say that is because when you courting, you don't get to see too much negative from that other person because everybody's trying to be on their best behavior. So I think that even the change that she made or the changes that she made would have been masked because at the end of the day, me and my wife was real good friends. We always been real good friends. Even before we got married, we was good friends. So it's like I know the good side of her. I know some of the bad sides because she genuinely, and this is one thing that I can't say about a lot of the female friends that I know. She genuinely doesn't really have bad traits. She is a real good woman. And that's one of the things that really attracted me to her when we initially decided to take it to that next step. Is because I know she is a good woman and cool and fun and everything. But the job aspect and the hardness of the job and the persona that had to be exhibited in that type of job just started to manifest and come through a little bit too much into her personal relationship. If you can understand that, but I do that is cool. That is good. That could have helped possibly if it could have been done. But I think that it would have got masked and some of the stuff. Me, I'm an open book.
right.
So even though I changed a lot from the person I was when I got locked up, because when I got locked up, I was all the way on top on the street, and I was arrogant and I was flashy and conceited and everything else like that, and wanted what I wanted and got what I wanted when I wanted it and everything. So being gone so long and away from that life, I had to change my way of thinking and everything. Not to mention, I got spirituality while I was gone. So that changed a whole lot of stuff for me on how I view a lot of things, especially relationship-wise. I view a lot of things from the spiritual aspect. So therefore, I don't move the same way in the relationship realm as I used to.
Okay.
So a lot of things I would be looking at a whole lot differently and address things from a spiritual perspective. So, I that would have helped for us to try to do the court process all over again and see if I could have got to know the new person that she was becoming. But like I said, she was telling me, and I should have took that as a sign when she was like, "You probably not even gonna like the person I am today."
Oh.
And I should have took that and been like, okay, before I left, you was like this. So you telling me that I'm probably not going to like that person today. That means you're the opposite of that person, which means that's bad for me and the person that I am right now, coming home back to society, needing a lot of support to be able to accomplish the goals that I set for myself coming home. I can't afford for you to not be 100% supportive, especially after me going through 9.5 years of you not being that person.
Right.
So that probably is a good thing, though, that we possibly could have done that, but I don't know if it would have helped, especially had I paid attention to the fact that she was telling me that and then stopped and actually thought about what that actually means.
Right.
For me moving forward and for our relationship moving forward,
And that's key support. And I think that's why we have a lot of repeat offenders. Well, some repeat offenders, because once they get out, especially during a lot of time, that they do not have the support that they need to keep them leveled and balanced. And
right. And then you know what? Even with that, because a lot of dudes can come home to support, but what did you do to properly prepare yourself before coming out here? You heard of the 5 P's, and dudes that's in the Fed always spitting the 5 P's. Proper preparation prevents poor performance. Those are the things that a stand-up guy and a dude that's really trying to come home and be a benefit to society and himself and his family. Those are the things that he has to have, make sure he got in place before he come back to society. Because you can come back to all the support in the world, but if you're not mentally ready to come back to face all of the obstacles that society has in place when you come back, then you will fall by the wayside. And especially if you've been gone a long time, institutionalism is real. And you can end up going right back to the place you just came from because you wasn't properly prepared yourself to come home and do what you needed to do. So if you do follow the 5 P's and you have that support, there's no way you can't win. No way.
Okay, and what's those 5 P's again?
Because even in proper preparation prevents poor performance.
Okay. That makes sense.
You know what I'm saying? So you got to have a plan in place and you got to stick to that plan 100%. That's one thing I did when I was gone. I wrote everything down. So when I came home and I find myself being tested or in a storm or trying to help somebody else, I go and pull out my stuff that I used to go through when I was gone and reread it and let it take me back there because I don't want to forget where I came from. I got a lot of good men that I still give advice to and I'm a testimony for some of them. And I want them to know the positives and the negative things out here and the fact that I ain't leave them behind. You know, I think about them and I keep them in my thoughts when I'm moving out here because, you know, the only reason I got a second chance is because of President Obama.
Oh, okay.
Obama took my life sentence off in 2016.
Wow.
And so I can't be the one of the ones that he blessed like that or that God put it on his heart to bless us that was in there. I can't let him down by coming home and
being on some bullshit,
doing something negative or something bad. And then why? Because he's a black president and it would negatively impact everything that he set out to do. You know what I'm saying? I can't be one of them stats to put a black eye on everything that he did and tried to do when he was in office. So I think about all that kind of stuff when I'm out here.
Right. It doesn't affect just you.
You know what I'm saying? So yeah. So like I was saying, I look at the stuff that I've been through and I remember those times when I was in there like, damn, a year out, next year this time, I hope I'm on the street so I can think back and remember this exact day and be like, man, I couldn't wait for this day to come. And I do that now. Even though I've been home more than a year, I never did it for a year out. I used to always think that this would be my year so that next year I could look back on this year. I did it every year. Every year I did that. Now I can do that. Be like, man, now 16 months. But now it's like, wow, 16 months ago, I remember I was thinking about this day right here. What would I be doing at home? Or how much progress would I have made or could I have made or whatever like that? Because I want to be a positive influence or something that my dudes that's still in there can use for inspiration to help them keep doing the positive stuff that they doing in there so they can make it out here.
Absolutely.
You know, so, you know, but unfortunately, my relationship didn't work out like I was hoping it would. But, you know, I don't question God. You know what I'm saying? Because if it was his will, and I try to always stay in his will, then he would have put things in place to make sure that everything worked out. You know what I'm saying? And I'm real sensitive to the spirit. So I can't afford to not listen to that or not feel that if it's negatively going to impact my life, you know, because I know the presence of God in my life because he brought me through that whole situation, you know, so
absolutely.
When stuff's not going right, he going to let me know. He definitely going to let me know, hey, you doing the wrong thing or you not doing the right thing. And when stuff going right, I know my blessings is right there too. He let me know that too. You know, so I'm assuming that I didn't make the wrong decision in that situation because my spirit has not been disrupted as a result of it. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So, you know. But yeah, man, I would really like to know or hear other people's stories about similar situations or whatever like that.
Oh,
Preferably married couples, you know, because, you know, in a regular relationship, you know, you don't have no commitment that you going away from, you know, or no covenant that you walking away from as a result of issues you having with your significant other or whatever.
I'm going to most definitely pose that question and see if I can get some feedback. Because that is,
I'm sure you get some
good
feedback.
something.
I'm just interested in what the feedback will be. Because, you know, you got some women out here, man. They got to listen exactly to what it is the question is and what the whole conversation is about. Because it can be twisted that there's a question as to them being strong-willed or taken away from them being strong. That's not it whatsoever. And when the hardness come about, you know, and it negatively impacts your relationship, you know, how y'all feel about that? Especially if it's posed to you that you too hard or you too masculine. How y'all feel about that? How do you take that? If a man tells you that.
I think I would want to know in what light are you referring to? Because I have a friend that he jokes with me all the time, and depending on our conversation, I might say something and he'll be like, "All right, Alpha, I ain't talking to your ass."
Right. That's another thing. It's alpha female. What is that? What, you know what I'm saying? What is that? What's the alpha female? Did God create alpha female? Was woman created to be alpha? You understand what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Where's the line drawn in the sand as far as alpha is concerned when you're dealing with women, with a female?
Yeah. See, I think that's going to open up.
Are women comfortable? Are women comfortable with that? With being labeled that an alpha? Now,
I think some are. I believe some are, but I also believe
in a relationship. But how about if you taking that into a relationship though?
Well, see,
where your husband or your significant other also is alpha.
Yeah, that's where the problem comes.
Where's the balance?
Yeah,
absolutely. There got to be some balance.
Absolutely.
There got to be some balance.
But see, a lot of things, and people try to say that you shouldn't bring bags with you when you go to a new relationship. However, it's kind of difficult. And especially if that female, prior to that relationship, was in either a relationship where she had to fend for herself and she had to take on that role. You have so many people who have things so misconstrued that when it comes to acting a certain type of way, bringing on a certain type of essence about themselves because of how people have treated them or not treated them in the past. Right. And I get it. You're not supposed to bring it with you, but a lot of times that's a difficult thing to do because of that bag. So that's like you telling me, don't come to work with your at-home problems. How sometimes can you differentiate or take or leave at-home problems alone when I'm at work? Because I'm that same individual. I bleed the same way. I hurt the same way. I cry the same way. I'm that same individual. So when you have someone like that, and it could be that they're broken or whatever definition of the word that you want to call it, it's because they feel some type of way or they've been treated some type of way that sometimes when they go into something new, it's difficult. And it's a learning experience. And the person that they're going in that relationship with have to kind of notice it. Not that it's 100% their job, but sometimes they need to nurture, hold, baby, assist, whatever, feed into that person. And that's women and men alike. They need to
Right.
feed into that person and help that person, because
Yeah.
without that help, we all doomed at a certain point, especially us. I'm going to say us wounded people, because I've been through some bull. So I'm
Right.
going to say for myself
Right.
that, you know, I may, for some people, come off a certain type of way. But do I want to be that way all the time? No. But sometimes I have to put up that
Right.
barrier just so that what just happened to me 20 minutes ago is not about to happen to me 40 minutes later.
Right. Right.
You see what I'm saying?
Right.
So,
Right.
but that is a good question. I don't think we all necessarily want to be labeled as a alpha female, but I also think that we don't want to be taken for granted and don't want somebody to look at us like, oh, she weak, or oh, she a little bitch, or whatever. We don't want
Right.
that stigmatism on us. So in order to take that away, we have to act a certain type of way. Now,
Okay. So how does that work? Because I don't want to get off the topic, but how does that work when it got to do with your husband, with your significant other? Listen, I 100% agree with everything you just said. As far as we are what life throws at us, we adjust, we recalibrate, we go back, we take stock and inventory of ourselves, and we try to strengthen ourselves so that we are not really different people the next time the situation comes up, but we're stronger to be able to deal with or make it through that negative situation once it presents itself again. But my thing is, when that negatively impacts your relationship, there has to be a trigger within yourself that says, hey, I'm exhibiting this, even though I went through everything that I did to change to become this person, but I didn't do it to negatively affect my relationship with my significant other. Yeah, it's fine for the outside world. I have this armor up to prevent this, or I exhibit this so that they know they can't do this to me or they can't do that to me. But I didn't do it for this guy that I love or this woman that I love to negatively impact what we trying to do. You know, so
I get it.
We have to think about that when we decide that we want to change ourselves so that we don't get hurt by certain situations that's thrown at us moving forward. You know what I'm saying? When we recognize that this is negatively affecting this person that I say I love, we got to put a pause on that. For real. Men and women.
Agree.
We got to pause that, but we got to recognize that it is something that's negatively affecting that relationship, be it we personally recognize it, or if that significant other mentions it to us. So if I love you enough, if I love you enough, I care about you enough, I respect you enough, then I'll pause everything and I'll listen and I'll take inventory and take stock of my actions so that it don't negatively affect you. Because one thing we don't never want to do, and I speak personally for myself, is I do not want to intentionally do nothing to negatively affect my girl intentionally. That means I'm doing something, you don't like it, you tell me, and I don't correct it. That means I'm intentionally doing it because I won't fix it. And I know it negatively affects you. But if you bring it to my attention, now I can't say I didn't know.
Right.
Now I can't say, oh, why you doing this or why you doing that or why you saying this or why you saying that, because you told me prior to your reaction,
right,
your response, that this was negatively affecting you. You didn't like this or you didn't like that. And so that gives me the opportunity to fix it. Or, like I did, move on.
Right. So communication
it's not
is
gonna
key.
Be fixed.
Communication is key, and openness and acceptance is a part of this whole function. Because if you don't have those three things, everything else is a moot point. Because I got to hear what it is that you're saying to me. I have to be open to what it is that you're saying. And then I have to accept it. And then figure out what we're going to do together.
Exactly.
So I get it.
That's real key. That's real key, especially in this day and age in society of communication. Everybody wants communication. Everybody want to be transparent on things. Okay, now when you have somebody that's telling you, hey, I don't like this, I don't like that, I'm not telling you to change. Maybe how you are is good for somebody else. It's just not
good for me.
Good and beneficial for me. So if we want to move forward together, what can we do to correct these, you know what I'm saying? How you moving? And then you have the opportunity to fix it if you want to. Yeah. Or you can come back, I'm like this for a certain way. I got to be like this because of this. I got to be like this because of that. Okay, well, the reasons that you have for being like that, did you get them from me? Or did you get them from past relationships and you're bringing them, like you just said, about the baggage into this relationship?
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? Because that's not fair. You know, and you didn't tell me that it was like this in the beginning, or I saw no hints of this. You know,
the compromise, the resume. I've talked about this before. It's like a job application. It's like, I need to find out some things about you to see if this is where I want to be, because you may be somebody totally different. Exactly. You're different on paper than you are in real life.
Exactly.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's what's up.
So, that's, like I was telling you when we first started the discussion, that even though we initially we hadn't discussed any type of topic, I knew that would be, because that's something that I've been pondering and thinking over and over and over again, and looking at different posts, different comments periodically about that. And it's just crazy the different outlooks that people have on that type of situation, and it's like you have to literally pause and hear both sides of the equation and then give your opinion on it, because a lot of people have warped opinions about stuff like that. And it's like, once they get both sides of the equation, it's like, oh, well, wait a minute now, let me backtrack a little bit and rethink this whole thing, But like I was just asking you, man, I really want to know what is this alpha? What is the alpha woman for real? And how does that work with alpha male?
I'm gonna find those out for you, and I'm gonna call you back.
How does that work? I'm interested in what women think an alpha female is. I'm interested in what men think an alpha female is. And while I'm on the topic, I'm going to tell you what I think my definition of an alpha female is.
Okay.
An alpha female to me is a female who kind of moves like a guy does. She at the bag. She wants to be independent. She don't bite her tongue for anything. She wants to be the breadwinner, or if she is the breadwinner, she's gonna let it be known that she's the breadwinner. And in a nutshell, I think she's disrespectful most of the time.
That's a different take.
I think it's disrespectful. I think it's disrespectful most of the time. She won't let a man be a man. She's not gonna let a man be a man other than in certain instances, intimacy. But outside of that, I think an alpha female carries a lot of manly traits in relationships.
So she's not born, she's bred.
I would think she would be a product of her experiences.
A product of her environment.
Her environment, her experiences, and things of that nature. And I don't think an alpha female knows how to turn it off.
Oh.
It is what it is. Yeah, I don't think she knows how to turn it off. I don't think an alpha female knows how to turn it off. And I think if you ask alpha females that, they'll say, "Nah, I don't know how to turn. I only know how to be this way. I'm willing to learn how to turn it down, maybe a little bit, but I like being this way."
So let me ask you this question: if she doesn't know how to turn it off, does she really know that this is what she is? Because certain people that act a certain type of way, you know what? You know how alpha females know that they're alpha females? How?
It's not internally. It's because people telling them that. Why you talk like that? You so disrespectful. Dudes have said that to them. Yo, why don't you chill? Yo, chill. Calm down. Fall back. Let me do this. Let me do that. No, that's all right. No, that's all right. I don't need you to do this. I don't need you to do that. I'm going to do it. I can do it. I can get it done. No. You know what I'm talking about. You can't tell them nothing. You can't tell an alpha nothing because you can't tell an alpha man nothing.
Oh,
that's one of the negative things about alpha. You can't tell them nothing. They got to be in charge of the situation, whatever it is.
Oh, well, maybe I'm not an alpha female after all.
Alphas don't know how to be submissive.
Damn.
How about that? That's a word women don't like.
Yeah,
that's a word submissive. A lot of women don't like.
Yeah.
Because they don't understand. They don't understand
what
there's
means.
A few different definitions of submitting. I deal with submissiveness and submitting from a spiritual standpoint, not from society's view of submissive, because it's negative when you're looking at it from a society standpoint. Every time you mention submissive and you get a female's perspective of it, most of the time, maybe about 70 to the negative, it's going to always have a negative connotation to it. They assume it's negative when you bring up submissiveness to a female. And it shouldn't be like that, but it is. They think it's a negative thing to be submissive.
Okay.
But alphas don't know. They don't know how to do that.
They don't know how to submit. Well, I guess I'm not as alpha as some may have thought.
See? So it's less, and like I just told you, I view and deal with things from a spiritual aspect. So it depends on how you viewing it. Also, it just depends on how you're viewing it, because how we view things is how we move. Our actions dictate that. So if you looking at things from spiritual perspective or from the way society as a whole views things, then it's good to have them kind of discussions, because now you can see a different point of view.
Absolutely.
It ain't a debate. It's not a debate, because debates always end up being negative. But when you just having just a very honest discussion, an open discussion, where you're open to hear both sides and not be biased, take the biasness away from it, then you get a better understanding of why people believe what they believe, why people feel the way they feel about certain stuff. You know what I'm saying? So it's just the individual view of it. So that's why a lot of times we just got to take a step back and just listen.
Yeah, and
to what the other person is saying. You know what I'm saying? Listen, and then think about what they just said. Go over it a little while in your brain, and then give an answer or a response.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? A response. So that way you don't sound ignorant when you're giving responses.
That's fair.
To certain things.
That's absolutely fair. Wow. Okay. That works for me. It absolutely worked. Well, we have come to the end of this week's episode. I want to first thank you for listening to the insanity that crosses our minds. To those who partake and entertain in my conversations, without you, there will be no hanging out with Hayzel. To Platinum Way Ray and Mac of the Tracks, we're looking out for my dope beat. And last but not least, shout out to my other half for making this possible. Because at the end of the day, she is I and I am her. If you thought this show was interesting, be sure to tune in to next week's episode and tell a friend. Support the movement. All things Hayzel Green. Find my books on Amazon.com. Follow, listen, and like at HayzelGreen.com. Hayzel Green on Facebook and Hayzel Green 216 on IG. 2 fingers. And I'm out. Hey.